What's good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one I want to make a very quick update video about Tesla SPY and a couple of other tickers. Let me first say that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. The offer ends in 12 hours, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market. So we had a very interesting day today. We saw, the market sink in the morning. We saw Apple come down, Tesla come down pretty hard, and so did SPY. And then the buyers came right back and they pushed the market right back up, showing that they're stronger, if anything. So the market's on a nice uptrend. You can see on the 4 hour, we're continuing to remain bullish. But I just wanted to call out that tomorrow, even though we have some jobs openings data and things like that, there's nothing too huge coming out in the morning. It's going to be trumped by the Federal Reserve interest rate hike and the Fed press conference. These are going to be the biggest things for tomorrow, and that's going to dictate which way the market ends up going. So we're going to be very patient, looking at how the market's going to move while listening to what Jerome Powell says. So what is very possible is the market might just remain bullish. I don't know if we're gonna even like come down to fill this gap now, at least for like the short term. It is possible, okay, that instead of filling the gap now, SPY could just go and go and go, and we could just leave the gap open. But then we could come back here in like 2024, for example. Sometimes that happened. You guys remember how, like in 2022, we saw many instances where SPY just left gaps and then came back later on to fill them. So that could be what's going to happen if we don't end up coming down here, if the Fed does not cause any downside. So if the Fed pauses, there's a good chance the market's going to try to bounce soon. And we're looking more bullish. But I'm not going to be way too fixated in this direction yet. We'll see what the Fed causes. One thing I've been saying on this channel, though, is that the market's going to change directions once we hit November. November is almost here, and the market's already starting to turn more bullish. But we're going to be waiting to see if the Fed could help establish this and what Apple earnings also brings. So it's going to be very important. For now, we're going to be watching 417.5 as resistance on SPY. That's where we have this tight resistance here. If we break this resistance, you're going to be watching 418 as the next level. If we break that, watch 419 and then 420 as strong resistance. For support, we're just barely above 417. If we lose this, watch 416. We also have this trend line acting as support now. We have a new trend line that's been established today. As you can see, we're respecting an uptrend. So if we do break down, we have some strong support at 416 now, and the market is still holding up nicely. I don't know if the Fed is going to cause a downside, by the way. It is technically possible, even though I'm not leaning in that direction. I don't know if the Fed is going to cause a temporary drop to like fill this gap down here on 410 on SPY, and then we bounce afterwards. I don't know if the Fed is just going to cause us just pump like there's no tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen, guys. I'm going to be open-minded, but I am leaning more bullish for the month of November, right? That has a different meaning from what I just said. So November, it's going to likely be a nice green month for the markets. I think we're going to see the market attempt to rebound. I'm going to be watching it very carefully. For Nvda stock, I was calling this thing to potentially drop and then bounce today. It technically dropped very quickly down to about 390. What is this? 392. It came down a bit, but then we saw the buyers step in and defend. We made our way back above 395, and we're still trying to hold up. We're going to be watching to see what the Fed causes. If the Fed causes some more upside, we could see this imbalance fill towards 409 to 410 on Nvidia. If we get a rug pull, this could be just a flag, and we could see the market continue to sink. In my opinion, there's a good chance the Fed is going to pump the markets. We're going to start recovering very soon. For Apple stock, we're going to be watching this time frame. So let me just show you something interesting on Apple. The daily is still looking quite decent. If you look at the daily chart, we're still continuing to see buyers stepping in. And on top of this, you could see that Apple is continuing to maintain these higher levels. So with Apple, it broke below its channel. And I was talking about this being like a bearish signal for the markets as the market dropped. And Apple ended up coming down to our target. So that was what we were expecting. Now the question remains is how will the market move going forward? And will Apple make an attempt to bounce? So I think that we could see the Fed possibly try to help Apple push up towards that channel all over again. So there could be more upside coming. But just to be safe, let's just see what Jerome Powell says, and we'll see if Apple could try to get above 172 all over again. If it does so, we could see even more upside for the entire market, especially for the NASDAQ. I am leaning more in that direction, by the way, but we're going to be watching to see what the Fed causes. So, with that said, guys, I'm going to kind of cut the video very soon. I think I'll have one more ticker to talk about. It's going to be Tesla. For Tesla, it's looking decent. It's trying to get back above 200. It's kind of like fighting at 200. If Powell causes a pump, we could see this imbalance up here fill, and we could see 206 quite easily on Tesla. If Powell causes a rug pull, Tesla could sink. But don't forget that we have a very important support on Tesla's weekly chart. The 200 EMA is holding it up, and so far the buyers came back to defend it. So I told you if we broke the 200, we turned very bearish. If buyers stepped in, like they're doing right now, Tesla could try to rebound. And that's what's happening so far. So we're going to be watching to see what the Fed causes. Expect some volatility between 198 and 200. Maybe not volatility, but kind of like chop. And not a whole lot's going on, but Tesla's trying to get above 200. So we'll see if it could break. Anyways, that's it for now. I think the last one I forgot is the QQQ. QQQ is looking quite decent, just barely fighting this resistance right over here. We're going to be watching it very carefully to see if the Fed causes it to come down to fill its gap at 345, or if it just chooses not to and it just starts popping towards 356, right? Because if we break and hold above 352.5, I could see 355 coming pretty quickly to 356 at the 20 EMA. So we're going to be watching this very carefully. We're going to be doing what we have to do. But anyways, guys, market's holding up nicely. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much, and peace out.